Why am I soft in the middle? Why am I soft in the middle? The rest of my life is so hard. I need a full opportunity. I want a shot at redemption. Don't want to end up a cartoon in the cartoon graveyard.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the SEO show here on That's All, folks. Thanks for being here, all you cartoons in the cartoon graveyard.
Get these mutts away from me, you know. I don't find this stuff amusing anymore. If you'll be my bodyguard, I can be your long lost pal. I can call you Betty. And
Betty, when you can call me out.
I'm here with Zach, Show Live.
What's going on, everybody? Zach Show Live here. This might be the most insane intro song we've ever had.
I wish I could tell the listeners how to find this video on YouTube. It's actually not a full cover, that's it. But this dude comes in shirtless, sweaty, in like a poorly lit room. And on his wall behind him, he has a photo of himself.
It looks like most like bachelor dude rooms. Very simple bed, dresser, one thing on the wall. This one's shot in the mirror. It's a pretty small room, but I mean, he is dancing pretty cool.
He is buff. And this thing, what you heard at the beginning was him, I think, warming up, some vocal warm up. I don't know what that was. I wish the user is actually Buff Corell, like Buff Correll, if you want to see this.
Buff Correll.
I don't think that's...
I'm just emphasizing the double R. What's up, everyone? You cartoons in the cartoon graveyard. Is this the SEO show?
I think we could talk about topics. I feel like last episode did work. The SEO did work. I don't know. I put a bunch of things in the description, and there was a decent amount of listeners. I mean, a couple million, which is...
That's good. That's decent for like just not having posted in a while.
And so I think the SEO did work, so I'll continue. I don't know if people actually, like I called the last episode the Batman cam screener, like I called it the name of the torrent that I downloaded, and right. I don't know if people on Spotify or Apple like actually thought they were gonna listen to or watch a cam of the new Batman movie when they clicked our podcast, but if that was the case, thanks for being here.
It's intriguing enough, but I mean, I would say in general, I'm feeling quite like a cartoon in a cartoon graveyard recently.
Me too, and I forgot to mention that last week that we call our fans cartoons in a cartoon graveyard. Like that's, if you're a fan of this podcast, much like Lady Gaga has the little monsters, and I don't know what the other fans are called.
You have what are the other ones? There's so many.
There's a lot.
The Beliebers.
True.
Fucking the Beats, the Beatles. What are the Beatles called?
I don't think that they ever
really
had it. No, I don't think so. Not that I know of.
Yeah.
But, I actually have been feeling a lot like a cartoon in a cartoon graveyard recently. Well, I asked if you wanted to talk about Delta 8.
Oh, that's what we're talking about?
I don't know.
We're not pulling up Google Trends.
I don't know.
It's like we already know what's on the trends, right? I mean, let's just round out. If you guys want to play along with us, which the thing is, if you're listening to this, the Google Trends have already changed. But either way, if you want to play, Google, search trends.
Trends.google.com. Go to the hamburger on the upper left. So the little lines on the upper left, and then go to trending searches.
First one for me is Barry Cogan.
Oh, this is funny. It's actually another Batman thing, isn't it?
Right, yeah. Which, I don't know what the fuck. I guess this is an actor, like, deleted scenes of Joker. I don't know.
I don't care, honestly.
That's the thing. That's the thing about being in the cartoon graveyard. You start to not even care about the trends.
I know. That's why I wanted to ask you about, like, I feel like I wanted to talk about Delta 8, the newest drug trend, the newest weed form of weed.
Our latest addiction.
Like, I've been taking Delta 8 almost every day lately, and I don't like to be dependent on any chemicals, but I definitely am.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, I don't know. It has its ups and downs.
I mean, I love Delta 8, but I thought it would be different than normal weed. Like, I thought it seemed sustainable.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should start by saying that,
Should we say what Delta 8 is?
Well, I think people know what Delta 8
I don't think
is.
so. I think we have to do a little.
I guess you can give it a whirl. I mean, it's a type of marijuana strain, and Delta 8 is the compound of THC. Like, this is kind of me just going off the dome.
Yeah. I don't really understand.
It's a legal version of, like, a cannabis product. It gets you high, but for some reason, because it's not that specific chemical compound, it's legal. So it's kind of like, it's a workaround.
Well, it's called Delta 8 because, I mean, and I don't think I knew this until Delta 8 got popular, but THC is like the thing that gets you high. Like, that's the thing in weed that you extract into oils and stuff like that. THC. I've known about THC, but I didn't know that it was like THC-9 specifically was the one we like, that is the popular one that gets you high.
Right. You have people know their CBDs, you know, like I know that it's a different, like, you know.
I think it's a whole different thing. What's in the weed?
Probably a different thing, but I'm just saying, like, I knew the difference between, like, CBD and THC, but I was never getting into the molecular level.
No. But I guess THC, if the one we want before THC was actually THC-9, I guess there's THC 1 through 8. And then there's even THC beyond 8. There's 10, 9, 10, 11. I don't know how high it goes. But
it might just keep going.
But so Delta 8 is the one, I guess you select for plants these there's a 2018 Farm Bill, which I don't know exactly what that means. I didn't read the Farm Bill. But it was...
That's weird because you're usually reading farm bills.
I'm usually reading all the farm bills, and I didn't...
You usually get your farm bills delivered in paper form every morning.
I think the point of the whole bill was that people wanted to grow cannabis for other products like clothes, like famously...
Like
hemp.
Right, hemp products.
Yeah, hemp. Famously, I think it was one of the early crops in the United States. Like, there's like wheat, hemp, I don't know. There cotton.
It's a very, like, it's bug resistant.
I don't know.
It's just a hardy plant that grew well here.
Yeah, and you can do a lot of shit with it. But so a lot of people. But I think it was hard for people.
Can I just say right now, it's actually 421.
Sick.
So.
We should also say you took a
421 is kind of like the Delta 8 because, like, you know, classic weeds kind of got 420, so we just kind of wait one more minute.
One more. I guess it could be like 419. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so.
So I think I don't know. This is me guessing, but I think it was hard for people to grow hemp and do hemp shit because of the weed laws were so strict. So they were like, we need to pass a bill that's like, okay, if you grow hemp that has less than a certain percentage of THC-9 in it, then it's cool. You can grow it. It's not considered a drug. It's just a regular plant. But within that, because of that, people were like, oh, fuck yeah, we will grow hemp. But then instead of being prominent, growing plants that have a buttload of THC, we'll somehow select for ones that have more of a high amount of THC 8, which is for some reason Delta 8. I don't know where Delta came from, honestly.
I don't know. I think that someone gave that a number. That a scientist gave it that number, just studying different strains. But
it looks cool. It's like a triangle, right?
I don't know.
The little if you look at it,
maybe it's more scientific than that. I'm just kind of I'm simplifying it, but
so anyway,
what if it like the Delta 8 shape is like actually shaped like a weed leaf?
What do you mean, like the
chemical compound actually kind of looks like the leaf itself?
Let me take a look and see what Delta 8 chemical structure. Let me take a look at this and see if I can tell you anything. It just looks like hexagons, like most chemicals.
I think that's just like the way that we represent compounds so that we understand them.
They look like a jungle gym with balls between each peg.
It's like a beehive kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But I just I'm sorry, I'm going to change the subject, so you go ahead.
About how are you going to change?
Well, I'm just talking about the idea of Delta 8. Like, it's just interesting how it's and I'm thinking about it in the way of like a trial or something, like a court case. You know what I mean? Like a lawyer can just twist words to mean a different thing, and it's just interesting how you can work with the law.
That. Well, I mean, that's not really changing the subject, because it's somehow I think the point of the law was the growing the hemp thing, but then people were like, there's a little loophole now. I'll grow this weed that's actually Delta, it's THC 8, and I'll sell it, and it's legal weed. And you try it, and I was skeptical at first. I was like, that can't be real. And it was explained to me that it is actually weed. So I was like, okay, it's not just some weird chemical concoction that somebody came up with in in their own home laboratory. Where there have been legal weeds in the past. Like do you remember spice? Wasn't that one?
That wasn't weed though.
That
was a different. I think that was a different plant.
Well, yeah, I know, but it was sold as legal weed. Quote, things that were sold at gas stations that were. I think there was something else that was. Oh, there's spice. There's something.
Yeah. Oh. Salvia?
No.
I don't know. But I think people. This was their plan all along, right? I think we can safely say that.
The people that were pushing for this bill?
But that they were saying, oh, it's hemp. This is for us to produce, fibers for clothing. I personally don't really know what else you make. I think you make drugs with hemp. I don't know what else you make with hemp. I think is it just fabrics?
I don't know. I've definitely read a sheet.
I think you can build with it in mud and structures kind of more minimal shit
really. Insulation?
Just it's a fibrous plant, so you can kind of use it to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think people are lying when they say it has many uses. I think that it really doesn't. I don't know if the farmers were actually pushing for this, or if it was a happy accident, or I have no idea. I think it all happened so fast. And
well, I mean, the thing is, I think are these just. Because you can use because hemp is usually the male plant, the male cannabis plant it's used for other things.
Oh, true.
Right.
The female is the one that you get the drugs from.
Yeah, so it's we have to have female plants to produce male plants, and it's just
I don't know.
I'm just straight up guessing.
Maybe we could do some actual journalism and go to a Delta 8 farm and be how does it actually work?
Well, I mean, and then the thing is everyone has access to legal or illegal to edibles now. Everybody knows how to make edibles, and I don't think the process is very crazy.
What do you mean?
Just edible, the weed industry is at the point where it's common knowledge to produce an edible product or to extract THC from a plant, and it's, I mean, although in California the industry is kind of collapsing from what I hear, but it's just I think you're able to do it, and everyone's trying to get a piece of the pie.
But I guess the thing, I thought you meant like everybody can make edibles all over the United States. Like still,
right.
In states where weed is illegal.
That's what I'm saying. But like even if it's illegal, you can still get fucking edibles.
Yeah, no, you can't. What are you talking about? Like CBD?
Illegally, yeah, illegally.
Illegally, yeah.
If you have a person that can get it for you.
Yeah, well, that's still pretty hard for people. Like just like old people who don't have any connections to like any drug dealers, or like even me for the longest time, like I didn't know how to get weed when it was like legal into certain states. And so like I think that when it gets legalized in states, I think there is like a good portion of the population that's like, well, now that it's legal, I'll go and try it. Like I can buy it at the store, but would never in a million years like seek out a drug dealer.
Yeah, no, I guess that is true, and it is odd. I've only purchased Delta 8 once, in person, and others I ordered it online. So
yeah, so I guess this is something to say is like if you're in the United States, maybe else, I don't know where else they ship it, but like you can get this weed, and it's weed. It, like when you take, like I said, I was skeptical. I was like, this is one of those fake products. Oh, the other one I was thinking of was K2. Was the one that was being sold in gas stations. So that wasn't even weed at all. I don't think that was even a plant. Yeah, I don't know what that was.
To me, that was like some kind of like pill.
But people were like dying from that shit. And so like, because it was not regulated by the FDA. Anyway, you can buy this. You could take it. It feels pretty much like weed. What they say is that the Delta 8 is less psychoactive than THC 9, like less anxiety, less of the traditionally psychedelic aspects.
Is that what they say?
That is what they say. Would you agree with that or no?
I mean, I guess it's hard to say because I've been Delta'd for a while now, but I would completely disagree with that.
I haven't noticed that much different.
I don't know. I guess, yeah, we would have to do a test, you know what I'm saying? Like a side by side, but it's interesting. I haven't smoked any Delta 8 weed.
Neither have I. I've seen it.
So I think that would be a good comparison, but
yeah, because it would be more instantaneous.
Yeah, and edibles are weird because like they all hit differently. So I wouldn't. I don't know that
that's
I could
the claim
for the distance or the difference. And I mean, I'm definitely. I feel like I'm high. Like I don't feel like I took something that was a different. It's fucking weed.
Like compared to CBD, like I thought it was gonna be like a CBD thing. Whereas like I've taken CBD stuff, I've smoked CBD weed. I swear it does nothing to me. Maybe it makes me tired, but I was maybe just already tired. I don't know.
Yeah. I actually recently smoked some CBD and it did make me feel, it gave me a part of being high, but like I guess maybe I just felt a little bit loose.
I think that is what it's supposed to do. It's like to get rid of anxiety. That's why people take it. And people say, I guess I believe people when they say it works, but personally I've felt that it was like complete snake oil. And I feel like the CBD industry is just like, yeah, like snake oil, and they're just like finding people that want to smoke weed, but when they actually smoke real weed, they freak out, but they still want to like be in the weed culture.
It's like drinking a non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Which there's people for that, you know. Yeah. There's a group for that.
I think I would actually drink non-alcoholic beer if it tasted really good. I hear there's like some good companies coming out now that actually have good fake beer.
You know, I mean, this is kind of not really about Delta 8, but like I want to try these like weed. I never really dove into like a lot of weed like things, but like a weed drink.
Well, I mean, it'd be the same as an edible.
I don't know, but I think it's kind of like it's because it's kind of like drinking. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's a different feeling. I have done it before. I did go to the one weed restaurant that was in LA for like 6 months or whatever. I went there actually like 3 times, but I did get a weed drink and I'm just like, I'm kind of just like full, but I guess I'm high.
Yeah. I think I had 1 or 2, but it only had like 10 milligrams of THC. And so it was like, not really perceptible anyway to me. I don't know. I think it's most like not that much different than edible.
I feel like this might be a good question for Wheats.
Yeah, we used to follow this dude on YouTube who was a weed reviewer. Wheats. I don't know how to search him.
Wheats. It's like WEAT.
Here we go. We'll see if he's still. It's spelled WEEATS. But Wheats is still no. He actually hasn't posted in 10 months. Damn.
Okay, well, I guess I want to also like kind of give a little bit of backstory for my
Delta.
Just kind of how my getting into Delta, and it was more just like I was we went to Colombia. For those of you fans that may know that, we went to Colombia. We came back, or I came back initially, and I just was, I was, you know.
Well, we had Delta in Colombia.
We did have Delta in Colombia, so we kind of gained my trust.
Yeah, well, a few weeks before Colombia, our friend that went with us, he told me about it. Gary told me about it. And I was like, he's the one who gave it to me. And I was like, wow, this shit is real. Tastes like an edible. I like it. It tastes good, and it works just like an edible. And I was like, this is sick. And it's actually it was cheap and came in the mail fast.
Yeah, so yeah,
shout out the brand I had.
Sure.
Hometown Heroes, I think, was the brand.
No,
is that not what it was called? Fuck. What was it called?
Royal Remedies.
Royal Remedies.
Yeah. So and yeah, we did. It's good. We took them in Colombia, and I was like, okay, these are legit. But we had regular weed too, whatever. But I got back and I got home, and it was nice to be able to just like smoke a fucking joint like on the porch, like after not having like a real home for a while. It was nice to just relax, and so I was just smoking so much weed. Like I was smoking like almost like a quarter a week. Like that's more weed than I've ever smoked in my life, and I remember like hearing about people that smoke that much weed. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like take it easy. And now I am that guy.
Can you quantify it?
What do you mean?
Like how much? So if the viewer.
Yeah, I mean, wondering. Probably like, I think because we were rolling a lot of joints out there. So I was kind of in a joint mood. So I was smoking joints, and I was probably smoking like 3 joints a day, which is like not a lot. Not like big joints, but like, you know, it's probably good for like 2 people and you get stoned.
I don't think that's abnormal.
But like
but it is not.
It's more than I wanted to.
Well, it is abnormal, but I don't think it's like completely unusual.
No, I think that's probably like a good amount for a lot of people. But anyway, it wasn't really. I got to the point where I was just, my throat was hurting, and I'm like, man, I probably should stop fucking smoking so much. So I did. I slowed down a little, and then I tried to like completely quit weed. And it like lasted about 2 days, and then I fucking caved. So I mean,
it's really hard to quit. It's not that hard, but it definitely, you get withdrawals. There's no doubt about it. What are your withdrawal symptoms?
I don't know. I'm just bored. I'm just like, fuck, like, and like. So anyway,
I'd say I get mean.
Yeah, I do. I definitely do.
I have a lot less patience, and
whenever I haven't, like, I immediately realize how just on edge I was before I was high. I'm like, man, I was really uptight today. And then I think about like 2 or 3 things that I did throughout the day where I'm like, that was stupid. But I would never admit it before I was high, you know what I mean? That's like,
yeah, true.
I have more empathy for myself in a way.
You do get, so you're saying when weed kicks in, normally, you're able to look at your behavior from a new angle. That when you're not smoking weed, when you have the withdrawals, you never get that other angle, and that angle might be a beneficial angle.
Yeah.
So
that's
definitely agree
why
with
I'm
that.
like, okay, like I don't need to cut weed out completely. I just need to control myself. And I was like, all right, I'll just fucking take edibles. So I don't have access to edibles right now. I could get them if I really wanted to, I'm sure. But
you can make them, but it's hard to control your own how much THC. Like going back to like the THC that gets extracted from like a raw plant is like, you know, up to that plant. It's you. I think the good thing about edibles, especially ones that are actually like measured out, is that you know exactly how much THC you're taking, or at least close to it.
Yeah, I mean that is a good thing. I mean, it's nice to know that they have the higher dose at deltas, because that's kind of like old school shit.
Yeah, there became a law that in every morsel of edible, it could only be 10 or maximum 10, because they were making like a little gumdrop that would have like 100 milligrams of THC, and people would take it like clunk, 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 and then they'd be like on another planet, and it would like ruin their life.
Yeah, and I think that's only a California law, but and because I mean, like I'm saying, like
I think it's a good law, honestly. Even though I liked the days when we took massive edibles, that was funny. But
I think that medical doesn't have that restriction because it's medical, and like weed is actually medical here in Florida. So
the thing about it though is the Delta is not controlled by any laws really yet, and so that right now Delta can be anything.
Right.
It's
actually kind of just like a supplement, right? It's like in the realm of a supplement, which I used to work in that industry, and it is kind of just like this shit ain't regulated.
Yeah.
So you can kind of do whatever you want. And that's another thing that I'm like, that I like to think that the Delta 8 people are just good old weed people, but I'm like, what is their process? I mean, that's kind of the weed nerd in me. I'm kind of interested in like what kind of things they're using to extract their shit, because I know some things are better than others.
So do you want to finish your... I have some things to say about that, but do you want to finish your thing?
Yeah, I mean, just like I started just to take Delta, and I stopped smoking, which like I feel better about that. I do still like smoking, and if in a group setting I would, but I also like don't want to fucking like destroy my throat.
Yeah, I also prefer to have edibles. Like I feel like when I smoke, it kind of makes me feel bad. It makes me feel like old and like like it feels like I feel like I'm shriveling like a fucking like autumn leaf. Do that to you?
Yeah, you definitely have you get a certain like coating on yourself that like you kind of, it's definitely, like you feel like you need to take a shower a little bit. Like actually something I often would do is smoke a joint and then take a shower like before I go to bed.
Because it made you feel dirty?
Yeah, because the smoke and like, it gives you like a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I still like it, but I know what you mean.
I still like it. I do think smoking looks cool and everything, and I like smoke. I like blowing smoke out. All of it's fun.
Yeah, it's visually like pretty cool.
And it works fast, and it feels a bit different than an edible, and I do like it.
You do feel fucking like ripped, because I was eating a lot of Delta, and I had like a little bit of weed left, and I actually like smoked it during that time, and I was just like, woof. So smoking's a different thing, but I did consider, I'm like, is this just weed's better or what? It's a different thing.
And what I would do before this too, I would get like raw weed and I would decarboxylate it, which is like putting it in the oven for 30 minutes at 250 degrees, and it somehow makes it so that that's an edible then. And so I would do that. I would cook my raw like weed plant, and then I dig I get a giant spoonful of peanut butter, and you dig a little hole in the peanut butter, like a little gopher hole. You drop the dry weed in there, you close up the hole, and you eat it. and it's kind of gross, but I had no idea how much weed I was ever eating, and sometimes it wouldn't be very much, and sometimes it would be like so much that it would like destroy my day. And so that was kind of the trouble with like making my own edibles, that I knew everything that was in it. It's just like weed, and then I liked eating the whole plant. I liked the idea that I'm eating the whole plant. Like they say that there's like some mysterious thing about the whole, every little chemical that's in weed, not just like THCs, all the THCs, but there's cannabinoids. There's, what's the other word that everyone loves, the weed nerd stuff?
THC, trichomes, terpenes, powdered sugar.
Yeah, anyway, that's what I used to do, but I completely switched to deltas, and I thought they were different. I thought I wouldn't ever like feel the feeling of like I need it, because I was having so much fun. I sort of had a new honeymoon period with weed after I got back from Colombia, because I wasn't smoking or eating very much weed in Colombia. And I think when I got back, it was almost like it was the old days of weed again.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I got back. I was just like, oh, I have like a bunch of weed, and like, fuck, I could just smoke it whenever. So it was also just like, it's kind of like, you get back from a vacation and you kind of just you wish you were still on the vacation in a way.
Yeah.
It's an adjustment time.
I was in Colombia though, like you went home. Zach went home a month earlier than me. We actually had plans to fly back, and I had a plane ticket and everything, but I went on like a really good Bumble date the night before and decided that I would stay there. And there was no weed. I didn't feel like I could have bought weed off the street from like, there's guys selling joints, like one joint at a time, but like that felt weird to me, right? Did that feel weird to you doing that?
Yeah, I don't want anyone to roll my fucking joint for me, especially someone just randomly selling it to me on the street. Like, I think I probably, depending on when this was in the trip, I probably would have smoked it. Actually, I did smoke it.
We did smoke a street joint once.
And I immediately was like, I wish I didn't do that. But I was like thinking about cutting it open and just like checking it out, But the thing is, the weed there was very different.
Oh yeah, I don't know if we could.
That's just a side note.
Maybe we'll talk more. We have a few good weed stories from Colombia. But I wanted to actually get into, I was just wondering, like, okay, you were just saying it's much like the supplement industry where it's not regulated.
It's just anything that's new or different, and like, and I guess it would be the FDA. And like the FDA, I mean, I don't know what it's like. I think they just have their hands full, like constantly.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I'm on FDA.gov on a page called, it's got big red text, Delta 8 THC has serious health risks.
No.
And it's just like, okay. So I skimmed it, or I read pretty much all of it earlier. They're just like, we see it, it's fucked up, it's not regulated, look out, people are being poisoned by it, we're getting calls about that.
Why are they saying people are getting poisoned? They're just getting too high?
Let me see.
Yeah, I mean, that has to be the case. I mean, I would think so, but because I'd love to talk to a Delta 8 farmer. I mean, I think it's just a weed farmer.
Here's what they there's a bunch of bullet points. You want me to read that? I'll just read the big bullet points. Delta THC products have not been evaluated or approved by the FDA for safe use and may be marketed in ways that put the public health at risk. I think people are accidentally taking them thinking it's not real weed, like it's something like CBD. Like, I think anybody could have taken CBD.
Right.
It's pretty much been totally like, again, like I don't even think it's real, but like you could take CBD and be like, whoa, I'm high.
I think CBD is real. I do.
You had that CBD cream for your knee and it did nothing. Topical CBD is real?
I'm skeptical on topicals, but I do think like ingesting Delta or fucking CBD is beneficial and calming. I think I need it but I just never want to buy it because I'm like, I'd rather just get the real stuff, you know?
Yeah, because regular weed has CBD in it. CBD is just like all the THC removed.
Right.
So number 2, the FDA has received adverse event reports involving Delta-8 THC containing products. So a bunch of people, FDA received 104 reports of adverse events in patients who consumed Delta-8 THC between December 1st, 2020 and February 2022. So in 2 years, they got only 100 calls. The adverse events included were not limited to hallucinations, vomiting, tremors, anxiety, dizzy. Like, this sounds like somebody who overdosed.
Yeah, exactly. No, literally, like, our sister did this with Delta-8. Like, she took like 50 milligrams, like, and wasn't smart about taking the weed, and she literally, like, said she was like, felt like she was going crazy and like felt like shit. And I'm just like, yeah, you took way too much.
There were 40 involved. I don't know. This is like there's a portion of these cases where the unintentional exposures affected pediatric patients. So like they had some gummies or whatever, and
right.
Like kids ate them.
Pediatric means old people.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, just old people.
Really though? Are you kidding me?
Wait, did I just?
I think there's a different word.
No, yeah.
Geriatric?
Yeah, you're right.
Like, there's no way.
You're right. Fuck. That's kids. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, Delta-8 has psychoactive and intoxicating effects. That's number 3. So they say that you don't have psychedelic.
I mean,
shit happen.
I'm looking at these numbers and I'm thinking, okay, so these young kids actually, they know how to use it, right? Because they're kind of like on the lower percentile. Adults don't know how to use this shit. Kids are using it properly.
No, but are you still on the pediatric thinking it's old people thing?
No, I'm just saying the kids, you know, they know what's going on in this world, you know, their friends, you know, everyone's doing Delta. If you're in high school,
77 involved adults. 77% of these reports involved adults. 8% were patients less than 18.
I understand. I'm on a different wave. I'm sorry. You continue.
So yeah, they say it's psychedelic. That's 0.3, 0.4. Here's the thing that I don't like. This is the first 3 I'm like, fuck you. Number 4, Delta-8 products often involve the use of potentially harmful chemicals to create the concentrations of Delta-8 THC claimed in the marketplace. So let me read a bit more of this. The natural amount of Delta-8 THC in hemp is very low, and the additional chemicals are needed to convert other cannabinoids in hemp, like CBD, into the Delta-8 THC. Concerns for this process include some manufacturers may use unsafe household chemicals to make Delta-8. Through this chemical synthesis process, additional chemicals may be used to change the color of the final product. Maybe I'm just like skimming, sorry. Yeah, so like, that's what I was wondering, like, to get this chemical out, like, for instance, I went to the store yesterday to buy more Delta-8. I ran out of Delta-8. This is actually my first instance of buying it in person, too. I had just ordered it online before that, but I saw that there was a store, like, 2 miles away that had Delta-8. I called them up. They're like, yeah, we got it. Rode my skateboard over there. And I was like, hey, I just talked to you on the phone. I'm looking for the Delta-8 gummy. She's like, yep, here we go. We actually have Delta-8, Delta-9, and Delta-10. And I was like, what the fuck? First of all, like, I knew about the law. I knew that Delta-8 loophole existed. But how do they have this Delta-9, which is just the Delta that's been illegal all this time? And then 10, which I don't think I had ever heard of any Delta-10 products, but
yeah, I think it's now acting as like kind of a disguise for other just like straight up weed.
Anyway, I asked him like, what's up with this 9? What's up with this 9 thing? And they were like, we don't know. They kind of just like fumbled answering me, and I'm like, that should be illegal, right? Like that's the psychoactive one. And this guy's like, yeah.
And they're like, this guy's a fucking narc.
I was just really curious, and I thought maybe they knew, but they're like they said like dry extraction, something like, I swear they said dry extraction, something else, and they were like, basically like they said some keyword that they had heard, and then we're like, I don't really know, but yeah, there it is. You want to buy it? And I was like, yeah. And the first thing my mind went to was like, they're using like fucking like Febreze and borax or something, and then like, you know, weird, like, this is household chemicals. I don't know what they're actually using, but like I had heard this before, that there's like different ways of like extracting chemicals that involve other chemicals that are harmful, and then after you extract the chemical, you do everything you can to remove that harmful chemical, but often they stay behind. And that's like the thing I don't like. And since it's not regulated by the FDA, they don't have to know. We're just like trusting the people who are creating these things to be doing it in a safe way and not just like doing it the cheapest way.
Yeah. That wasn't, yeah, like I mentioned that before. I'm like, just what is their extraction process? So yeah, that's my own, that's why I mentioned, I'm like, I hope I'm just trusting some people that are just some people that like to like smoke weed, you know, and have everyone else on a good vibe. But
I'm sure it's mostly good shit.
But me being, just having been in like a similar, it is the same industry, like in my mind, but I just know that like it is kind of like anything goes until somebody has enough like dirt on it to like shut it down. So yeah, and I mean like I remember like a lot of alcohol extractions, like ethanol is used, and I do remember like just like straight up like isopropyl alcohol. So like just alcohol that you can buy at the fucking local drugstore or whatever. So, and I bet you they are using those cheaper methods. I really, because I mean, I ate one of these edibles. I'm like, this tastes like alcohol. I'm like, and I'm just like, I bet you this is like their alcohol extraction. I'm like, it's a little bit of fucking like rubbing alcohol, like literally.
It tasted good. I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I mean, people like alcohol, so I mean,
I'll say that shout back out to the Royal Remedies. They didn't taste like alcohol. They were pretty good.
No, they had a really strong taste. I think they just drowned them out with like more like flavor powder.
Yeah, I had one yesterday. So I bought the THC one because I was like, let's see what the fuck this is. And it was a 15 milligram one.
Which one was that? Oh, the little one.
Yeah, it was just in a little pack. I bought a pack of 2 for $5, and it felt pretty regular, but it tasted bad. It tasted like the old style edibles. Like we were saying before, everybody got really good at making edibles. Like when we started eating the edibles like 2017, edibles tasted so bad. Every single gummy tasted like just straight up weed. And it was so gross. And then we witnessed over the course of a couple of years of edibles tasting good. It was like, wow, what happened?
I think it's going through the same motions as like the regular weed industry with edibles. It's just Delta 8, and it's just they're gonna, once they are like, okay, this is in the same category as like just like a regular edible, it needs to have the same restrictions or for extraction.
Yeah, I was just talking about the flavor, but yeah.
No. Mostly they did taste pretty bad.
But they've gotten good. And it was just weird for me to eat one that tasted as bad as they used to. And I think that might be just like, honestly, maybe like there's a bunch of people doing this that are new at it and suck.
Yeah, I mean, or they're doing it in a cheaper way, which is probably more likely. Yeah, so what you were saying before, that you think that they're going to clamp down on it and just regulate it like normal weed? I think it's going to take a while, but yeah, I think they will, but I think it's going to take a while, and it's going to be probably a state-by-state thing. I think it has to be, right? I don't know. I'm kind of talking out of my anus.
So here's this article. Oh, wait. Actually, this is not the right... Sorry, I don't have it pulled up anymore. Anyway, Florida's trying to basically regulate it like it's normal weed. They're passing a bill now. I don't really know the details.
Yeah. I don't know. I think if you have the opportunity to try some, try it. I don't know.
There's this article saying like this CBD farmer is like basically not even making any CBD anymore. He's growing all Delta.
Really?
Yeah, this is an article on Politico from last year. High anxiety over federal weed loophole. Seeming loophole in federal laws allowing people to buy products designed to get them high. It's just sort of...
I think that a lot of people in general got into the cannabis industry and like wanted to get into like the farming aspect of it or just growing weed. And I think like, I don't know, like I think some people do well, but I think the majority of the weed industry is not doing like that well. Am I wrong or...
I don't know. I don't know anything about like... I swear I saw like a...
I know that in California it's really bad.
I think I saw a Vice show a couple months ago that was like everybody's doing like every legal shop has also like an illegal portion of their sales because they want to just sell shit to people without a tax so that they can also not pay the tax. Basically, the tax is too high, and there's forcing people to, if they want to actually like break even, then they have to do illegal shit.
I think that's just California.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay. So, I mean, I guess if you're wanting to get into the industry, don't go to California. At least now.
A call for regulations is familiar refrain from the CBD industry, which has been begging the FDA to offer regulatory clarity, but it's not easy chats. There's still much unknown about the the process of CBD into Delta 8. It isn't just a clean one-to-one conversion, said Stephen Crowley, compliance specialist at the Oregon Liquor Control Commission. 15 to 30% is unknown byproducts.
Well, Stephen Crowley is one of the most well-respected guys in the industry, and I think if he's saying that, then we're on the right path.
Anyway, what else is there to say other than like I don't like that about it, and that everything else about it, I'm like, wow. It's just more like fascinating to me that somehow people have snuck around the weed laws, and everyone in the United States can buy legal weed now, and it's basically weed as far as we can tell.
Yeah. I think it's really kind of awesome.
I do think it's very funny and like rascally of everyone to have passed this farm bill and now weed's just legal.
It's a very, I'm glad it's happening. I'm interested to see what's going to unfold.
But I don't like that I'm addicted to it.
Yeah.
And I feel like the thing that I don't like is that I can tell when, like in the mornings when it's been a while since my last Delta, I'm angry. I don't see colors like I used to. Everything's kind of just like, fuck this.
I thought that was just me. No, I don't know. I personally feel like I need to like actually legitimately quit weed altogether.
I quit it for like 2 months last year, and I will say it did nothing. I don't know. I was like I thought I would be more productive because I would feel antsy or something, but I actually wasn't.
It was like the opposite.
Yeah, it did almost nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
and I had really bad dreams.
I mean, you just gotta know how to work with it. It's just like any other fucking, vice.
I'm trying to limit myself to one deltoid per day, which has been 25 milligrams. Whether I should probably split it up. Do one in the afternoon, do one in the night, so I can sleep. And I feel like that's an honest
dose.
That's an honest dose.
No, I actually do agree with that. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, I don't need, because I actually I popped a couple halfies this over the weekend, and it was very pleasant. and it was more along the lines of like a 5 milligram vibe.
Yeah, they say that these are much weaker than normal THC. Like a THC, normally I feel like I could feel it at about a 10 to 5. I can feel a THC edible. But this one, it seems like the normal doses are much higher.
Yeah, maybe 10 or so.
These ones are like 25 minimum. So like,
right,
which I heard is more like a 5 or 10.
Well,
sorry if you don't know anything about weed. This is like this feel like sports when we start.
Yeah, but like people that fuck with weed will get it. But they're out there. But no,
Baerga's looking good this season. He's got his ETA's down 4% and is.
It's like, people, they're in 25 milligram bites, and I'm, as an experienced weed user, eating a 25 milligram, and I'm like, damn, I'm pretty fucking high. So I get how people would be freaking out. Like, they should be in smaller pieces for sure.
Yeah, I would say.
And that's another reason why I've just been eating them whole, because I'm like, well, they're saying like that's the amount, right? So
that's really true.
Yeah, so
if they were split up into 10, I would only probably take one and just see how I feel, and I'd probably be fine.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's your mind kind of just being like, yeah, this is it.
But I'd say it is weaker than weed, but maybe like 40% weaker. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. And maybe because it is like that Delta 9 is one more piece of the puzzle that we're just not getting. But I do think it's a little different. But I'd like to try Delta 10.
Yeah, I'll go back to that store and we'll get some Delta 10. I just hope it wasn't like, well, to get Delta 10, we use... Give me a chemical. Scrubbin bubbles. We use scrubbin bubbles.
Gain soap. We use fucking... Yeah, I mean, there's...
That's what I'm really worried about. But I do want to try Delta 10. It's like, it's the highest. Like, it's got to be good. It's 10.
I remember like when I don't know what the best and most clean extraction process is now, but I do remember they were doing it with like ice baths, and they're just basically using water to extract like the chemical from the cannabis plant. But I know that's just probably a lot more difficult of a process. So people are just doing it on the cheap, and yeah, like it's probably like not the best quality edibles.
They do taste good. And the ones we've got, at least the
remedies. But that being said, there's so much worse foods and like other things out on the market and other supplements that like are actually really bad and are actually You guys
like protein powders all have lead in them, right? It's like
I can't call it.
It's like asbestos, lead.
No, it's just like these places where these products. I mean, that also has a lot to do with like the facilities.
Yeah, and like that was in the FDA thing. They were like they might be using a dirty facility.
Yeah, I mean you don't know, so. You just hope you trust your fellow humans, and hope.
Honestly, like a lot of people in business, like just are like it's business, baby.
Exactly. I've kind of been Kyle and I, our other brother, have been reading like finance books on like just how to like manage your money, and it just really is that attitude. It's like you got to get your piece, baby. So.
But
on another note,
global.
What?
I don't know. You just made me think about like, yeah, it's just like the world's kind of being destroyed by that attitude.
Yeah, I just want to say here at rank number 10, Harry Styles announces his next album, Harry's House.
Harry Styles is so corny. I mean, I like that he's like, I can wear girl clothes, and like that is cool, but his music does suck.
It's just like adult contemporary, whatever. But yeah, like his album is called Harry's House. That's pretty funny.
Harry's House.
I think I like him a little bit more for that. I'm all right with him. He seems like a nice dude. I don't know. So, I mean, I think Harry Styles would probably do Delta 8.
Probably. I don't know. Is there any other... We should maybe just like make this a full-blown weed cast. And tell a few of the weed stories from Colombia. I think they're all pretty funny.
Oh God. Which ones? Like,
well, no, I brought the Delta 8 gummies, right? I brought a bottle of them, and we all of us were like, we liked smoking weed, and so after a few days, when the gummies started running dry, we were like hitting the gummies pretty hard. Well, not that hard. We had about a half or a whole
every day.
Almost every day, and
every night.
And we called it getting ochoed because which is that's another thing I want to talk about. Well,
I forgot. I kind of want to bring that back.
Yeah, I'm fully ochoed. Another thing we were saying lately is like flying first class, like Delta. You know,
that's like not even like that nice of like an airline. You know, it's like regular economy.
Flying economy. I don't know. So we would get ochoed every day, and then they ran dry, and we were like, fuck. And there was this we were doing a volunteer thing, and there's this dude there that like would give us a few puffs of his joint sometimes. And we're like, that rules, but like we needed more.
Oh, it's so good. Literally.
And then we finally got some. We bought some from this other person that was there, this woman that was pregnant. She was smoking weed when she was pregnant. I'll say that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm glad we could out her in some way, because we were all taken aback by that move. But
she was like, we had a lot of group meals with like everybody there. It's like 10 or so people. We made some soup one time with some ginger in it, and she was like, fuck, I can't have that. I'm pregnant.
He was like, I can't have ginger. It's bad for the baby. He's like, that's like my German Colombian accent.
Yeah, she had a kind of a weird accent though.
Yeah, she's had a weird voice.
So yeah, but
she was a freak, is what I'm trying to say.
She really was. She was really spiritual as fuck.
In like a weird way. I didn't hate her. I did like her. She had a good spirit, I think.
It was maybe something about that her spiritual vibe did come across as some like snaky, like she was almost like putting on this character of like, I'm in touch with like some really higher power energies, and I just want to like let in like be a gift to you as like a conduit to those secrets.
So the other dude we were with, Gary, he was really jonesing for weed, and he asked me to ask her for the weed, and I knew that I was going to be the one to have to ask. I just knew it. And I was like, all right, whatever. Like, I'll do it. I don't give a fuck. Like, I do want this weed, and like, I have no shame in asking for whatever. So I go and knock on her door, and she's like, oh, come in. And I go in her room, and we like sit on the floor, and I was like, hey, like, do you have any do you know like any way we can get like weed by chance? And she was like, I thought you might ask. And I was like, yeah, I mean, obviously, like, we do seem like guys that smoke weed, so. And she's like, yeah, like, she's like, sit down. She like pulls out a little like a box, like a little like plastic box that your sister used for like beads, you know, a little plastic like flat rectangular box, and then there was like a little compartment in there with weed and a bunch of it, and she's like, yeah, like, and she's like, okay, like, but before, like, I just want to know, like, we're not selling this, like, this is a donation, and like, we want you to have this, but I want you to understand why, you know, like, what this means to this land, because like this is a very special plant that it was grown in this land, and it connects us to this land, so I just want you to appreciate it. And I was like, oh, totally, like,
yeah, we should say it was grown there, and this weed, we had been smoking it with this other dude too, and it was really light. It was like very, like, I don't know how else to describe it other than scraggly, light, didn't have no smell to it, like nothing, like not like normal weed. It's very different.
Yeah, so I was like, I definitely appreciate it, and I want to, like, you know, honor this land, and you know, I've just, like, appreciate, like, that's why we're here. He's like, we're here for, like, the beauty, and she's like, yeah, like, our ancestors have been on this land, and, you know, she went on for probably 25 minutes, and it was, I wish I could have heard this conversation again or have it recorded, because it was really interesting and kind of hilarious.
Yeah, it went on for a while. You were gone for like 25 or 30 minutes.
She got to the point where I remember she's like, whenever two bodies are making love, like, they can change the ocean tides on the other side of the world. I was just like, oh my God. And I'm just like, yeah, so like about that weed, like, so she's like, how much do you want? I'm like, okay, we don't need a ton. Like, we just have like an eighth. I was trying to be like modest. I think maybe I said an eighth, I think I said an eighth. She gives us the eighth, and we pay, and finally I get out of there. She gives us she's like, give us how much ever you want. It's a donation, you know, like, I'm like, well, can you give me like, how much, like, roughly? And she's like, it's a donation, like, it's whatever you want to pay. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. So I went back to you guys.
And we decided that we would pay like what a normal eighth costs at like a good weed place in California, which would be like $35
like
to $40.
That's like a mid-level price, like $35.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, how much I would pay in weed in LA. That's as much as I would ever pay for it. Like, I would never pay like $50 for an eighth, but I would pay like 35 to 45.
Yeah.
So we decided to give her $35, and this weed was really light, like
$35 American dollars.
American, which is, I don't know, like 100 and something meal.
It was like 90 meal, I think,
something like that. And so maybe like I don't know, but it was a lot. It was a good amount, and this weed was so light and scraggly, like it definitely wasn't an eighth. Like, I don't know how much it weighed, but
it was maybe like half of an eighth, like a half eighth.
And it's so hard to roll into a joint too. It was so tough. We had to keep relighting it every time you took a puff, it would go out. It was terrible.
It's probably fucking Delta 8.
But it was cool that it was grown there, and it worked. I mean, we got high, whatever, but everybody we told about that, like the other dude who was letting us puff on his weed that we worked with, he was like, we told him like how much we gave the pregnant woman for the weed, and he was like, no, like, just, you idiots, you paid way too much for that.
Yeah, but we didn't know. We were trying to be nice, and we were just trying to like be like, we were happy and great and gracious. So and we felt that at that point we were like, holy shit, like, she fucking played us. And like, she later told a story about how she like tricked people into like letting them stay with her in like Vegas or some like gypsy shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, you definitely have done this before.
I don't know. I think
it was malicious. I was pissed. I was pissed.
I was like, I really don't care that much because it's still like weed and we really needed it, and like she was pregnant, so like they could use the money.
Whenever you pointed out the pregnant part, I was like, okay, yeah, you're probably right. But anyway, we ended up getting more weed from our other dude.
The dude that made fun of us for paying that much got us some weed in town. Not much of a story to that other than that guy ruled.
Yeah, he hooked us up. But another thing about this, I guess we're just calling her the pregnant woman. I got pretty sick when we were there, and she let me borrow her echinacea spray for my throat, like an herbal spray for like being just like a sick, like, I don't know. I probably had fucking, you know,
Omicron variant.
I probably had the Omicron, or I just had some wild fucking like Colombian flu.
Speaking, when we were saying where at the beginning of the episode, I wanted to say, Delta 8 sounds exactly like it would be like a new strain of Corona. Like, this is the Delta 8 variant.
True.
When the Omicron came out when we were in Colombia around the same time that this was going on, November, I remember when the Omicron word came out and I was like, damn, that's actually a cool... I thought it was called the Omnicron at first, but I remember when I heard about it, I was like, that's a pretty sick name. Like, I did not like... wait, hold on a second. The other one was called the Delta variant, right? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, why didn't we make that? I didn't make that connection. But yeah, like, that's why it sounds exactly like a Corona variant. Yeah, like the Delta variant.
Wait, Delta 8 was born from the fucking Delta variant.
It's true. Like, right when the Delta variant came out, that's when the rise of Delta 8 started.
Really interesting.
That's an interesting parallel. We should look into that.
That's fucked up, dude.
You think it was something they're trying to, like, cover up searches for Delta 8 and, like, confuse it with Delta variant, like, so that it would spread?
Maybe.
We'll have to look into that. I actually would like to go to a Delta 8 manufacturer.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if we feel like it, we can call a couple people and see if we can do an audio tour
on the Delta 8 world. That might be an interesting thing to learn about. I mean, shit.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. You want to finish the story or?
I have the echinacea spray. They ended up getting fired from the place because they were apparently just not doing shit. The husband or the girlfriend, boyfriend.
Pregnant. Yeah, the pregnant woman was there with her boyfriend. Yeah, they're not
impregnator.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they got
fired. So they left, and I still had the spray. So she messages Ryan. I guess you take it.
I actually got her number because they said that I wanted them. I was trying to. Well, I thought she was really entertaining. You guys kind of hated her, but like I thought she was like funny, and she said she could get us to do mescaline in like Medellin or Bogota, because she was like into like the psychedelic drug world, and she had friends that we could do a
seance.
They don't call it mescaline there. They're talking about the cactus. What's the cactus?
Peyote.
Other one. San Pedro.
Saguaro?
San Pedro. I wanted to do a San Pedro thing there, and so like I got her number so that she could. She could hook us up with a San Pedro person. Yes.
And anyway, she messages you.
She messaged me and she said, "Hey, I forgot my echinacea spray. You can just give me the money that it's worth. Here's a link to the Amazon place where she's got it from Jeff Bezos. And she's like, I think it was the big one. And so I went to the link and it was like $60 or something.
It was like yeah, it was like $60, I think. 60 or $80.
There's no way it was. I don't know, but and she said she made it herself. I thought you guys said she made it herself.
Yeah, she said she made this shit herself.
So I don't know.
And then like she sent us the fucking Amazon link.
She acted like she was like some witch. Like, I got this from a really good source. Like, you don't know where lengths I had to go to get to this. Like, 'cause it tasted like tequila, and it had like a root in it. It had like branches and shit in the jar.
No, that was a different spray.
Oh, it was different?
She didn't leave that one. That one she did. I think that like was some homemade shit.
Okay.
But the other one, the echinacea spray. No, you know what? I don't think she claimed to make the echinacea spray. Okay. But maybe she did. I don't know. Like. Fuck, I wish I could remember. I'm sorry.
Anyway, everyone was mad about that. We were like, no, we're not gonna.
Yeah,
we're not gonna.
I just that she had the fucking audacity. And I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you forgot your spray. That sucks. I am not gonna pay you $60 for it because you let me borrow it.
Also, it like didn't work.
Maybe it did something.
There's no way.
It was a nice thing to offer me, and that's why I took it.
Like, speaking of like not FDA approved shit like that.
I don't know. I mean, anyway, it left a really bad taste in my mouth. So I just didn't really want to hear from her again.
We did,
and it actually did also leave a bad taste in the spray. It did not taste good. Why don't we go ahead and just wrap it up here? I'd love to tell them the other story maybe on the next episode.
Can we tease it? I'm trying to think how we can tease.
I'll tease it.
That is pretty good. I forgot that I wanted to say that, like, speaking of like weird chemicals and shit, like, I forgot to say the month that I was remaining in Colombia, I was like, I wanted weed of some sort, and like I knew it's illegal there. We should say
illegal.
It's illegal, but you can kind of get it everywhere. Everybody whispers into your ear. They see your white skin, your white gringo look, and they're like, coke, marijuana. All right, coke, weed, coke. And so you can get it anywhere, but I wanted like an edible because I didn't want to smoke. And so I went to this like weird shop a couple streets away.
And this is in Bogota.
And they had some of like the tinctures. Zach was buying some tinctures in different places because it was available. It's sort of like a gray area, I think, like the liquid shit.
Yeah, because it looks like medicine. It looks like, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just they're not able to regulate like a weed product in that way. It's more just like the physical like weed.
It probably is still illegal, but like you could see it. You could see it around.
Yeah,
it was. You could still pay with like a credit card and shit with it. Like it was sold as if it's a normal store. With these stores, I'm pretty sure they were doing it on the down low.
I'm sure a lot of those people that were selling them didn't even know what the fuck it was. Like, you know, someone sold them the product and like it was and that was good. They were for the most part good.
Yeah, so you got those, and so I was like, I need to find one of those. And so I found this one, and it looks so jank. Like the label is like, you know, like homemade, like printer looking shit. Like
it's just like a regular sticker.
It's a bad looking sticker, and it like had an email address on it, and it was like, I don't know.
I mean, I had some cool ones.
They were like well designed.
Not super well designed, but like fine.
Yeah, mine was pretty jank looking.
Yeah.
But it tasted so fucking bad. Like it tasted like, speaking of mixing like scrubbing bubbles and like eating chemicals, like this one tasted like I was eating household chemicals. It burned, and it tasted like absolutely toxic. Like everything in my body told me, don't swallow this.
I think it was straight up like rubbing alcohol. I really do, because
and I was worried, like, am I fucking?
And that's how you fucking. That's probably like because the one you can activate it with like a chemical like that.
It's extracted.
Yeah, I think it's maybe, and then maybe it's just in the and then it's extracted and it's in the alcohol, and they're just like, yeah, just eat the alcohol, like you're good, like you'll get fucking high.
I knew that was possible, but this alcohol was so fucking aggressive and disgusting tasting, and like, oh my god! But I took the whole tincture.
Yeah, no, I think those
it
also
worked well.
Yeah, I think those also said like alcohol, because other ones were oil, and then the oil literally just tasted like
butter,
straight up like weed butter, like really pretty gnarly, but like not like chemical.
Yeah. After that, I went back to that place and I got a different one, and it was an oil and actually didn't work as well, but it tasted safe. It tasted like olive oil. So yeah. Any other closing thoughts on weed? Delta, weed.
I don't know.
I think they're going to regulate it.
I kind of want to get a fucking medical card here in Florida. It's crazy that I have not got one at this point. I just haven't gotten I think you need a Florida driver's license. It was like, I don't really want a Florida driver's license. So, do you have one?
No.
What's yours?
California.
Nice.
Final
thoughts.
I think what I think is going to happen, prediction on the future of Delta, something huge is going to happen with like some kid is going to take like a fucking whole box of Deltas, because they're going to be
that shit's probably already happened. I think
they already have
cases.
7% of the cases, which was 107. So it was like, I don't know, there were like 5 over the course of the last 2 years or so.
I mean, and it just comes down to like, these are people being dumb and leaving their shit out for their fucking kids to get.
Yeah.
Or is like, can a 15-year-old buy adult? No, you have to be like a certain age.
18,
right?
I think maybe 21.
I saw 21 in the package that you had.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So, but I mean, it's just like anything else. But I think, it's just like, don't leave your fucking.
Well, here's what I think is going to happen though. Like,
but people are just fucking stupid. That's the problem.
But I do think that like they should make them. I think the 10 milligram rule is good. Not that a little kid wouldn't eat fucking like 10.
I actually think it's a 5 milligram rule. Now that you're saying.
Really?
Yeah.
They made it smaller.
At least be like have like an explanation or like a partition or something.
Like if it's a gummy, it has a little separator in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's a 10 milligram, it has like a slit in it.
Well, I think what's going to happen is like a really big story with like some kid ODing and doing something like crazy, maybe dying, and people are going to be like, what the fuck's Delta 8? Because like I think it's just like under the radar right now, and like I think it is really just weed. Like I'm glad it got it feels funny right now, you know, like they snuck one by us, but like I wish they would maybe regulate it a little bit just so it's not fucking, you know, chemicals. I think it's probably just going to get regulated really soon, just like normal weed. Like there's no way it can go on like this.
Yeah, and then the prices are going to go up because it's also pretty cheap, right?
Yeah, it is a lot cheaper than weed.
I mean, it makes sense. Like that once you start implementing like other fucking like laws, that gets expensive in any industry. So, you know, you feel the repercussions as a consumer, and with inflation.
I don't know. I just think it can't be more than like another year going on like it is. What do you think? When are they going to clamp down? Or prediction on Delta's?
I don't know that this is a prediction.
Delta's
exactly on that, but I just wanted to say, let's go, Brandon. No, I mean, I think if we got Joe in office, they're gonna regulate it.
You think Joe Rogan would regulate Delta 8?
Wait, is Joe... I'm sorry, I'm getting confused with Joe Rogan and Joe Biden. Which one's the president? Yeah, I know. I think it will get regulated because, I mean, obviously it's on the front page of the FDA. Is that the front page or?
No, I just searched.
How do we feel about the FDA in general?
Fine about it.
Fuck the FDA.
No, I mean, I think it was a good idea. Like,
no, it is, but like, I don't know. Like, are they doing good? Are they doing enough?
I don't know.
Probably not. But who is?
Is there a good way to end it? Thanks for being here. Like, I just feel like I had to talk about Delta because it's like. Because it has been making me feel like a cartoon in a cartoon graveyard, you know?
I want a shot at redemption. Don't want to end up a cartoon in a cartoon graveyard.
I feel like if I die from Delta 8, I would be in a cartoon graveyard. Like, that's like dying from K2.
Yeah, it would be embarrassing.
Die from the fake weed.
It's like, yeah, he was eating like fucking like 4 bottles of Delta 8 a week. You ready when you call me, you can call me.
All right, we'll see you next time. Should we preview what the next pod is going to be?
Yeah, probably. We're doing something different.
Should I say
This
it?
is the after the episode.
This is the
recap.
cool down. No, wait, should we? No, okay, well, the next episode, I think there's going to be a video version too.
Are you still recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should I tease it? Or say what it is, or no?
Yeah.
Well, I've been listening to this podcast called Pod 185, 155, Pod 155, where these guys just like analyze every Blink-182 song. And so I just want to analyze a song the way they do it, like really long. They do like 3-hour podcasts. So we're going to analyze a song.
You think they get Delta before?
No, the one dude's straight edge and the other dude drinks beer.
Just curious.
It's a good podcast, and I like Blink-182, so I liked it. But anyway, so next pod, we're going to analyze the song in every way possible.
And...
Should I tease which one or no?
Huh?
Should I tease which one or no?
I don't think so.
All right.
Down the alley with